guys, it's Dr. Chris with Texas Chiro Health, back with our 12 Minutes to Health here. So thank you guys for joining in and tuning in to see what the research is saying about health as we dig into, what we should be putting in our bodies, how we should be eating, how much movement and exercise we need to be getting, and also what the effects of stress and not managing our stress are on our body and how important it is to deal with our stresses and things like that. And as always, we base everything that we do here on the 12 Minutes Health out of the peer-reviewed medical journals, the real research that's out there. Not the one-off type stuff or the new magic button or anything like that, but what it truly takes to be healthy. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know more and more people have been coming into the clinics Tuesday nights at 5:15 to join the doctors for these presentations. To get your questions answered, to grab the research, enjoying some of the refreshments and healthy snacks that we have there. So I really appreciate you guys coming in for that. It makes it fun for us to have more people there. And it's just great to see more people caring about their health. We also, love to get out into the community, and we'll bring you and your company a fresh, healthy lunch and do the exact same thing for you. So great opportunity to get your questions answered and understand a little bit more about the research and what it says on being healthy. So with that being said, let's dig into this research. This was done by Seaman and McEwen, and it is the impact of social environment characteristics on neuroendocrine regulation. So what's that mean? Basically, it means that we're social animals, right? And we need to get out and be social. We need to have groups that we hang with, like playing softball, bowling leagues, golf leagues, playing canasta with friends, or just getting together for poker. It makes a big, big difference to our overall health to be a part of something, to be a part of the community, to join a club, to just have that social interaction. It's a world of difference when we have that versus when we don't. And this study is just yet another study that shows that dealing with stress, managing our emotions, and controlling the hormones and regulating the neuroendocrine regulation, right? That's hormone regulation. What that does for our overall health. So really cool article, really important to understand. It starts by talking about homeostasis. And I talk about homeostasis with patients, and on these 12 Minutes to Health, so I do it all the time. You guys have heard this before if you've seen them. So sorry if you've heard it before, but it's great to hear again because it's very important. Our bodies are designed to be at homeostasis. And what homeostasis means is that everything's balanced out. We're doing well. Our cells have the best opportunity and the best environment to produce health, right? To be healthy. It gives us the best chance. Our immune system puts us in better shape, our weight's under control, no blood pressure issues, all this stuff. We're not sick, we're not chronically ill and inflamed. So being at homeostasis is very important for us, and that's where we want to try to maintain. And this article went on to show that by having these groups and the social interaction and things like that, we actually have a much higher chance to be at homeostasis. It's a big deal. You can eat the best diet, you can get all the exercise, but if you're stressed out and you're not part of a social group, you don't have friends and things and people that you hang out with and family and those social interactions that humans require, you're never going to be at homeostasis, and that's going to lead to chronic disease over time. So very important idea to understand here that social interaction plays into homeostasis the way it does. Dr. McEwen, one of the authors, is infamous for his studies on allostatic load. And we use this model here from the wellness practice out of Canada that does our SHAs and our HRAs, our spinal health assessments. This is kind of the diagram that wraps everything up for us that they've produced. So what this does is illustrates allostatic load for us and shows us where we're at as far as homeostasis goes. So this guy is trying to stay afloat. Floating, not trying very hard, that's homeostasis, right? But what happens is we add rocks to our backpack, and you'll hear us talk about this all the time in the clinics, is the rocks in the backpack. What the rocks in the backpack represent are stressors, okay? It could be, I ate pizza, boom, rock in the backpack, right? We can get rid of that one by cleaning up the diet and things like that, boom, rock out of the backpack. I exercised today, take a rock out. Right? I hung out with my friends. I socially interacted. I feel good. I have lower levels of cortisol because I'm not so stressed out. Let's remove a rock. But what if we are stressed out? Well, rocks go in, okay? And sometimes those rocks are okay, especially when we look at stress, right? There's actually, in this study, they talk about like spikes in stress real quick that we get under control and everything, actually kind of an immune boosting effect, and kind of increase some other things in our systems, help with blood pressure and things. It goes up, but it settles back in. It's a lot like what I talk about with a couple other talks that I do. Intermittent fasting is one of them, but you get those kind of like fight or flight survival modes. You kick your body in. It's kind of like a reset, which really can help. The problem is we have these rocks in our backpack and we're not getting rid of them. It's happening chronically and we're struggling with it. So allostatic load, our environment that we're creating, is very detrimental to our health if it's not the right environment. So the increased cortisol, which I talked about, this is a rock in the backpack. When you're stressed out, when you're depressed, when you're just not feeling yourself, when you don't get that social interaction that we need, your cortisol levels go up. Now, most of you are familiar with cortisol, and it's the stress hormone, right? But most of us think of cortisol, and we think of belly fat, like it adds fat, and it does, because of how that hormone works, right? And it's part of just being unhealthy. It's not being at homeostasis. If our cortisol is high, we're not at homeostasis. And our body, we're not going to move as much. We're going to gain fat. We're going to store fat for later because we're in this like just depressed, stressed out mode. And we think that later we're going to need this fat because we're in this fight or flight place all the time. And it's leading to chronic inflammation and chronic disease. So the increased cortisol that we see from not getting the social interaction is a huge stressor on our body. It's a big rock in the backpack, increases the allostatic load and takes us further away from homeostasis. So big topic that they talked about was increased cortisol throughout the whole article here. So our quality of life is a big thing. They showed that by getting out, by being with friends, and there were some survey studies that they did, and then they measured blood pressure, they measured cholesterol, they looked at blood sugar, and what they found is those people who had less perceived stress, who were hanging out, who were enjoying life more than others, had decreased cortisol, decreased cholesterol, decreased blood pressure, and decreased blood glucose across the board. So that's a big deal. That just shows that if we manage our stress, that we can actually have a physiological effect on our bodies. One interesting thing I found here is they saw that people who are taking care of people, whether it's with chronic diseases or parents and things who are aging, family members, things like that, they do not perceive that to be a good social interaction. They feel needed, they feel pressured, and they feel stressed. And they have higher levels of all these things, higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol, blood glucose, cortisol, you name it. And what was really interesting is that they found women are much more susceptible to this because they're caretakers. They're constantly putting themselves last, right, to take care of everybody else, whether it's kids, whether it's aging parents like I talked about, friends and family, whatever it is, they feel that pressure a lot and are much more susceptible to some of these chronic diseases, including the depression and things like that because of the raised cortisol and being stressed out all the time. So women, take care of yourself. Put yourself first for a while. Go join a social group, right? Get out there, volunteer, do something so that you can get out there, not feel the pressure, and just socially interact and feel good about it and get rid of some of that perceived stress. So quality of life is a big deal. Immune function is huge, all right? The fact that this study showed that the more stressed we are, the less social interaction we have, the more we see a decrease in immune function, the more susceptible we are to disease and illness. And that's, like I said, it's big because when we think about stress, and I used to do this all the time. I didn't think stress could have that kind of effect on me until I started reading the research. Yeah, I get stressed, but whatever, everybody gets stressed. That's not why I got sick. I got sick because of not exercising or a bad diet. I took a weekend off, whatever it is, but it's stress. Stress can absolutely cause you to get sick. It's one of the biggest causes of sickness and illness in the country right now, and has been for a while, especially this chronic disease because of the inflammation, the raised levels of cortisol, the allostatic load, all the things that we've been talking about in this talk are all due to a decrease in immune system due to a raise in stress. And again, you can eat the best diet and exercise every day like you're supposed to and just be chronically stressed and not managing it, and you're going to eventually run into chronic disease. And there's no way around that. You cannot reach homeostasis under that kind of stress. So it's highly important that you learn to manage your stress. Stuff is going to happen, right? It does. It's life. We're going to lose loved ones. We're going to lose pets. We're going to, we're going to have kids that get in trouble. We're going to leave the toaster on and stress out about it. I mean, you name it, stresses happen. And that's okay, as long as we deal with them correctly. As long as we take that rock back out of the backpack. We take a breath. We remind ourselves it's not that big of a deal. We join and get socially involved. We get with friends and be part of something. You can lower those cortisol levels and you can raise your immune function all at the same time. So really, really cool stuff when you look at this. And I love Dr. McEwen just because he takes this approach where he's looking at all of it overall. The allostatic load thing is huge because we do so much stuff, I mean, that we don't even realize is affecting us negatively health-wise. So, we always talk to you guys about eating right, getting your exercise in, and managing your stress. Well, this is just another research piece that shows you have got to manage your stress. It is not the stepchild of the three there, right? Like this is the real thing. You've got to manage it if you're going to get to homeostasis. So make sure you're taking care of yourself and make sure you're managing your stress. Now, I know things are happening and stresses are there, and there's a lot of people that watch these that are like, man, I can be healthier. I know I can be healthier. I can get rid of these aches and pains. Well, then do it, right? Take advantage of this special offer. It's a $39 donation to our local monthly charity. We'll do the x-rays, the exam, the consultation, but most importantly, we're going to do our spinal health assessment, right? That's the proprietary health software that we use from the wellness practice, and it's an overall lifestyle questionnaire. We measure your allostatic load, and we relate that to the symptoms that you have going on through this computer program and the physical examination and the functional movement tests and everything else. And it gives us an absolutely great idea of what's going on. It gives you a health score from 0 to 100, right? So we can see where you're at, and not only that, we can track your improvement as we start to execute a care plan to really change your health and change what's going on in your life. So guys, take advantage of this. I can't say that enough. Give us a call in the office. If you want, like I said, we'll come out to you and do more of these talks so you can just get more and more education. It's absolutely free. We'll bring you lunch. It's going to be a healthy lunch, so get ready for a salad. But come into the office and join us too on Tuesday nights at 5:15. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you for watching.